Live with the community, this is the Microsoft Power Platform Community Call for May 2024. I am your host, David Warner, and I'm so excited to invite a new guest host this week, Sean Long. I'm told on our show notes here that we're going to have this guest host named Sean Long. Sean, you out there?
Shane Young, thank you. First-time caller. Happy to be here.
I knew something was Shane Young. Yes. So let's get that changed here. Shane Young. Yes. Of course, it's David and Shane for you on the call, everybody. We were playing around and joking. It's always kind of fun. Shane, thank you again for joining me on this. How's your day going?
I can't complain. I get to hang out with my favorite person in the world and you. So it's a good day.
It's a win-win, right? Awesome. All right, let's take a look at the agenda. We are going to discuss community resources. We're going to talk about some community samples. We're going to have group picture time with Together Mode. And then we're going to have three amazing, fantastic first-time presenters on the community call, everybody. So we want to show them a ton of love. Nils is here to talk about improve efficiency of workflow using Canvas pages and in Dynamics 365, an example schedule assistant. Charles is going to show off some tips to condense and improve your Power Effects code. Looking forward to that one. Always love the tips. And then Gilles is going to be here to cover broadcast notifications for model-driven apps. So exciting times. But let's talk about some resources that are available for you all in the community and absolutely free. So first things first, we've got a YouTube account. You may notice that name changed. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute, but those videos are here to provide you some guidance. They are created by the community, by members of Microsoft. That YouTube channel hosts calls like this so that you can watch it on demand. If you miss it, you're able to catch up and binge watch that on the weekend. We know everybody does. And then we've got our LinkedIn group for discussions and updates. This is a group page and a company page, so you're able to interact with other members of the community there as well. And we've got all our open source projects and programs. So things like CLI for Microsoft 365. We've got PNP.js and a variety of other areas in which you can utilize those tools to make our life easier when we're using the technology we love. And of course, we've got our sample gallery. So we've got community samples that are all up that include things like SPFX, list formatting, a lot of those other Microsoft related projects and samples. And then of course we've got our Power Platform samples and our Power Platform prompts, and we'll see an update on those here in a moment with Kate. And of course we've got all this in a one-stop shop for you. That is our AKA link. That is aka.ms/community/home. And you may have noticed that little picture looks a little different, that screenshot, right? It's because we've got a refresh. So we've kind of got a new drop zone for you, a new landing page, a refreshed. What's beautiful about this new site is that is encompassing the look and feel of our brand. And that's not just Microsoft 365 brand or Power Platform, but all the above. So we've got color schemes. A huge shout out to Stefan Bauer and Hugo Bernier for putting in the work here. But it still includes all those resources that are available to you. So nothing has changed. The resources are all still free, all still there, all still listed, all still findable and clickable. It's just got a brand new look and feel. Put a new fresh coat of paint up, everybody. So, woo. And then as I mentioned, that YouTube account, which used to be called the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Community YouTube account, we're rebranding to Microsoft Community Learning. So this is an opportunity for us to expand the scope of the content that will be included on this YouTube channel. And of course, that way we're not kind of painting into a corner by just saying M365 or just saying Power Platform, but we'll be able to expand to things like Dynamics 365 and other related technologies that make sense and fall within the boundaries of the entire Microsoft ecosystem. So you'll see that changed. Microsoft Community Learning is the new name, but it's got all the same goodness that we know we love. And of course, just a reminder that today is the aka.ms ppdev 00, which stands for Power Platform Pro Dev office hours with Mark. And so we're going to start highlighting this a little bit more, leaning in and helping out in administering those calls. Be on the lookout, but it is available tomorrow on Thursday. I'm ahead of myself on Thursday. So you can check out more at aka.ms/ppd or ppdev 00, ppdev 00, depending on how you like to enunciate. Check it out. And now as you're watching this and you're thinking, I see some first-time presenters. That's awesome. Could I be a first-time presenter? Absolutely. You absolutely can. And we welcome everyone. Everyone is welcome to present. And don't overthink it. Don't think that, well, to do this, I'm going to have to be able to show, a flux capacitor. It's what makes time travel possible. Great Scott. No, you don't. If you've got a cool demo, if you've got a cool sample, if you've got a cool tip or trick or shortcut on how to accomplish things, we want you to share it. Don't think that if someone else has already shown it, I can never show it, because different people see different things in different presentations. So absolutely fill this out. Go ahead and let us know that you're interested. And if you've never presented and you'd like a buddy, we can make that happen too. Absolutely cool, and no problem. We'll work with you in crafting the presentation, even help you present it if you'd like. We're here to support you and make sure that you can share that passion that you've been building all this cool technology with everyone in the community. So do not hesitate.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a great one, right? For those that are trying to break into the space, whether you're trying to break into, speaking at large community events, or you're trying to break into YouTube or any of that, like, a great first step for a lot of people is to join a call like this, do your 15 minutes, get all the great coaching that David and team provides. This is top notch right here. Please, if you ever thought maybe I want to try that, making content, that is a great first step right there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shane, for leaning in there. Yeah, absolutely. Because again, it's low ask, right? 15 minutes goes really fast. So don't hesitate, take advantage of that. And like Shane said, it's a great prep, kind of like an internal user group. We're all friends here. So we're here to support you, here to show the love. All right, let's move on to some Power Platform samples and badges. Kate, tell us a little bit more about those samples.
So this month we have 3 wonderful samples. The first one is Podcast Copilot, crafted by Gomolema. This is amazing sample. Just drop a link to a podcast episode and AI will generate for you a promotional social media image and blurb that you can use in your social media posts. So you can download them and that's it. So the next sample is from April Dunham. This is a leave request template. This is a comprehensive system for managing leave requests, including tracking availability, tracking available days, and supporting the approval process. And the third sample is Power Platform blog updates from Nati Tortledov. This sample compiles updates about different Power Platform products over the week, organizing them into a nicely formatted email and sends it to you. So it's an efficient way to stay informed about the latest update without having to search through different multiple sources. So I'm sure that you are interested in trying these samples. So just click on the link that provided on this slide and try them out. And you can also discover different additional samples in this gallery, others, and you know that we are very close to having the 50 Power Platform samples in this repository. So we encourage you to add yours too, and perhaps that your sample will be the milestone 50th sample. So yes, let's grow together, and David, back to you.
Woo, awesome. Thank you, Kate. That's exciting. Yeah, maybe we can get like a set of steak knives or some powerful knives, right? Something like that for those that hit the 50. Awesome stuff. All right. Thank you, Kate. Now, if you're wondering, how do I submit these samples? They are provided by the community. So how do I submit a sample if I've got one? Well, happy to announce we are back with Sharing is Caring. And what is Sharing is Caring, you may say? Well, it is live sessions in which we'll walk you through together how to accomplish something like making a GitHub pull request. And you're thinking, I don't even know what GitHub or a pull request is. We will teach you. GitHub is the mechanism by which we store all these samples, and it is a way for you to get credit for making contributions to the community. So these sessions are absolutely free. They are no cost. They are safe space opportunities, means we don't record them. So if you've got questions that you're worried, maybe does everybody already know this? Should I even be asking this question? I've done it. We've all done it. We worry a little bit about it, but don't worry. It doesn't go on record. We're going to learn together. We're going to walk through and accomplish an actual pull request live in the call. And you're going to walk away feeling confident and ready to submit your own samples. Our next one is on May 20th, just a day before build, this coming up Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. So definitely get signed up for that if you would like. Go to ak.ms/sharingiscaring to do that. And then, of course, once you do contribute, we want to recognize you for the amazing work that you're doing. And that's where our recognition program comes into play. This is a program that is powered by Credly. Yes, those same Credly badges you used to get for certifications, you still get them with our community. And we are live and we are moving into a new year of support with Credly on this. So Get signed up, opt in if you've not already, ak.ms/community/recognition, another no-cost thing that we do for the community. And we're working on some fun thematic badges now as well for next year. So think of a May the 4th badge, something like a little Star Wars-esque badge. Or we're also working on a multiverse contributor badge right now, where if you contribute across multiple repos, you will get credit and a multiverse badge dedicated for that. So a lot of exciting opportunities. Again, these can be added to your LinkedIn. They are official and accredited, but you can show them off on your resume. You put them on the fridge, send them to mom, send them in cards, and everybody's. And if you're, by the way, on a real note, if you are working for a manager, which we likely all are, or you're an independent consultant, it's a great way to show your clients and your managers that you're making the extra step, that you're going that little further. So put them on there, tell them you need a raise, and if they have a problem with it, call me. I'll approve it. No problem. All right, let's get into some Power Platform community shows and events. So the first one is coming up very, very soon here, the European Power Platform Conference. We have great friends that are out there. This is a great community-led program. It is one of my favorites that they run. It's so community-focused, and it's coming up here soon in June, less than a month away. So get signed up for that. A lot of fun at these. I know I was there last year in Dublin. It is not one to be missed if you can make it. Turn it into a vacation. A wonderful, wonderful event. And we've got a few other actual events coming up. Shane, you want to tell us a little bit more about those?
Sure. How about TechCon 365, right? They've got events. They'd like to do the regional events. So, as you guys know, U.S. is kind of a big place. So they've got one out in Seattle. They got one out in D.C., one out in Dallas. And they are both the Power Platform stuff, things we know and love, and Microsoft 365, which, let's face it, we kind of work in conjunction with each other quite a bit these days. So it's not surprising that these great conferences are deciding to kind of pull content from both. So yeah, check those out if you get a chance. Very regional, a little bit smaller events, but get you going and get you engaged. Then we have my personal favorite, right? I don't know about you, but I will be in Las Vegas in September for the Power Platform Community Conference. This is the one that David and I did last year before. I don't know. We've done several times. Always a good time. But this is a great conference. This is the big boy for the year, right? Like this is where, we've got workshops, we got breakout sessions, we got lots of Microsoft people there, lots of community people there. This is a good one. I think the only thing that's been announced to mine so far has been a workshop. No, I wasn't sitting there. I was sitting a little bit to his left ear. Come on. But yeah, so definitely go check this one out if you get a chance. They've just started to kind of trickle out some of the things, some of the new speakers coming. So a lot more coming with that one.
Yeah, very exciting one. Last year it was in that big arena for the keynote. Not sure. I'm assuming they'll try to do that again, but one of the best. And yeah, definitely check out Shane's going to be doing a workshop and a session, and many other amazing presenters are already starting to trickle out. So really excited for that. And then we've also got a few other. Shane, you're involved in some of these and have spoken at some of them virtually or in person.
Oh, right. Like so there's two things in this slide, right? One is, man, look at all the events, right? So once again, those of you trying to get more engaged, all of these wonderful virtual events are pretty easy ways to get engaged. Or if there's nice local ones, maybe you've always wanted to go to the Netherlands, for example, right? June 1st, go to the Netherlands. Sounds awesome. But you get the idea. There's a lot of these events. Also, if you're looking on here, you're like, hey, I know there's an event and it's not out there, then go out to AKA MS Community Days and get your event listed, right? Like, let's make sure that all the community events are out there. We want everyone to know about all this awesome opportunities that are available. So there you go. Ralph is saying there's one not out there. Ralph, go fill out the thing. You got this. So yeah, check
awesome.
Out the event.
It is absolutely free. Yep, and absolutely free. Okay, let's quickly get into news from the field, and Shane's going to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, this is the slide where I just get to talk, right? You can see me and Buddy taking a nap there. So just a reminder, if you haven't heard about this thing called Copilot, you probably should be looking at it. Microsoft released 4 more Copilots for Power Apps in the last week, or as they think of it as Power Apps has 1 Copilot. They added 4 new features. Either way, lots of change there. Now, if you're one of the people that's been looking at these, you're like, they don't do a lot of exciting stuff today. A, I wouldn't agree with that. But B, if you still feel that way, one of the things to remember when it comes to all this AI stuff is that going on a journey with these AI tools, engaging with these tools right now, even if you're not like super excited about what they do, they help you to learn and have a base so that you will be smarter as they go. So they do more amazing things you have the background of how they got there, why they got there, and you'll naturally start to develop intuition with working with these tools, right? Sam Altman from OpenAI was kind of explaining this, like, even if you're not a firm believer, going on the journey with these AI tools is going to lead to you being better with it later. So make sure that you are doing that. Second one there, the offline stuff. I've been playing with that a lot lately on the Power Apps front. It's pretty cool. The new Dataverse offline, like it uses, a little engine underneath the hood to kind of make it all work. So there's no more save data, load data. So, if you've got offline apps, definitely be checking that one out. We're having a lot of great conversations about that one right now. And then finally, we didn't have it listed on the list of events, but Microsoft Build is next week. Microsoft Build is, traditionally a developer conference, but I can tell you every year the Power Platform teams all release lots of cool stuff. So make sure you're on the lookout next week for the updates from Build. Try to check out some of those sessions if you get a chance, because let's face it, right? Like, even if we're low code, no code, right? I've never written a line of C# in my life. These developer topics, right? We continue to gray the area with our low code, no code stuff. And so these developer conferences can help us, understand what else is possible, where we can grow and continue to, have fusion, right? We can continue to connect the dots. So there you go. Those are my notes from the week. And other than that, Buddy is literally right there in that same exact pose, taking a nap. Happy that I am not cuddled up on him. So. Anyway, there you go, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Shane. Always love the notes from the field. Okay, it is everybody's favorite time, picture time. So get those fantastic faces showing. While we are doing that, let's hope that Together mode works today. I'm going to turn that on. It is! Yay! And I'm going to move that over and turn on Camtasia here. All right, let's move that off. All right, we got a few more seats if everybody wants to join in. We're a little behind schedule, but we can stay late if need to. Give our presenters the proper amount of time. All right, I see those cameras coming on. We got a couple more rows. All right, they're filling in. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Everybody here. All right, we'll give it another second. There we go. Starting to get that front row filled up. All right, there is Norm, and I see Stephanie, and amazing people. Shane's up there in the top, heckling from the back. All right, let's get this party started. 3, 2, 1. Let's wave everybody to the community. Woo! Show them how awesome you are. Really appreciate you joining the call today. Fantastic to see you all. We know that many of our friends are over at ECS right now as well, so we welcome to see them in the next call. But we'll stop that. Okay. All right. So let's move on to our fantastic presenters of the day. Again, we've got 3 first-time callers, or first-time presenters on the call, multi-time callers, I'm sure. But Nils is going to kick it off with improve efficiency of workflow using Canvas pages in Dynamics 365 Example Schedule Assistant. Nils, if you'd like to take over the screen share and take it away.
Sure, I will do that. So hopefully you should all see my screen by now, right?
Yes. See there you go. Perfect.
Perfect. So hi everyone. Today I want to share to you a cool approach that could make your workday or your workflow more efficient. You know how annoying it is to switch between apps, just for example, a scheduling assistant. Well, I found a way how to fix that, kind of. I took a feature from the Outlook app called the scheduling assistant and brought it into Dynamics 365. Think of it like copying or moving your favorite game to a new console, same fun, different place, like the Xiaomi SU7 and the Porsche Taycan, Today, I'll show you how to utilize custom pages to make your work life smoother and get more done in less time or with less distraction. So, I'm Nils Goldenstein, Senior Consultant at Podware. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to share my insights with you today. I'm always excited to engage in discussions, share ideas, or simply connect with like-minded people or individuals like you are. So don't hesitate to reach out. I'd be happy to connect with you. So you can find my credentials and everything over there. So let's move on because time is rare, and also this is it. So we kick things off by diving into the introduction, where we'll discuss the significance of optimizing workflows and explain why it is so important to outsource processes to a custom page. From there, we'll move on to explore the architecture behind the scheduling assistant, followed by a live demo showcasing its look and feel and its features. After that, we'll dive into the topic of caching the output from the custom page to access it in your model-driven map. And if we have time for that, we'll wrap it up with the Q&A, and otherwise, please contact me via the socials, because I want to give some space for the other contributors today. So, as we increasingly rely on a multitude of applications for specific tasks, the need to minimize the disruptions caused by app switching becomes ever more pressing. App switching fragments our focus, disrupts our flow, and imposes a significant cognitive burden on our mental resource. Studies show that it leads to substantial time wastage and compromises the quality of our work. However, by consolidating our tools and processes within Dynamics 365 using custom pages, we can mitigate these challenges. Custom pages offers a tailored experience, reducing the need for an app switching and enabling us to maintain focus and productivity. So, I have a little sentence in here which should mean that imagine you're on a highway and you constantly need to switch lanes. Each switch requires a shoulder check to ensure the lane is clear, signaling your attention by using your blinker, possibly braking to safely execute the change, and then accelerating to get back up to speed. This constant lane changing interrupts the flow of your drive and significantly slows you down. Similar, when you're constantly switching between applications, it's like navigating through different lanes of traffic. Each switch requires mental effort to adapt to the new application environment, avoid distractions, and focus on the new task. This constant switching disrupts our workflow and results in us spending much more time and energy than necessary to complete our tasks. So let's shift gears and investigate the architecture behind my solution. Just as a well-designed highway system can streamline traffic flow and minimize delays, a carefully crafted architecture can optimize our workflow. In my case, all begins with a model-driven app, serving as our user interface. After that, the JavaScript invokes our custom page, which acts as the central hub for scheduling assistant. This custom page, implemented on the Power Platform, has the capability to interact with multiple data sources, leveraging tools such as gateways, Power Automate, custom connectors to seamlessly integrate with various systems and services. In my case, I'm using a custom connector to call the Graph API to get the calendar entries from specific users. Next, we implement caching mechanisms in our custom page to store data within our model-driven app. And lastly, we utilize JavaScript to read the cache data. And if you're interested in how I do this in a kind of more detailed manner, I will write a blog entry about all this stuff today, and you will find it in my socials. So, without further ado, a lot of speaking, let's go for a quick demo. So here we go in my Dynamics 365. It's just a quite simple samples app where I have the appointments in there. And now when I click on appointment and I want to start an appointment with my colleagues and the customer, for example, the most annoying stuff I have is I have to come up with my colleagues and find a time frame which is suitable for both of us. So what I did is I've implemented a comment button which opens a custom page. And this custom page looks very similar to the one which you see when you go into the Outlook calendar. You click in to create a new appointment, navigate into the scheduling assistant, and you have it over here. So it was looking quite the same, but as you know, Microsoft is changing things, and so is the user interface. But it was quite the same a few months ago. Here you have the opportunity to create a attendee for this appointment. For example, I want to add myself for an appointment. It takes some time. It's just a demo and a proof of concept, which I've done in the past. But trust me, it works. And now I do the same for, let's say, I want to add Alan Steiner as a required attendee. And also an optional attendee will be added in a few seconds. It takes some time because in the background, it's retrieving all the data from the Graph API via the custom connector to show it in here in the user interface. And also Mr. Contoso. And now that all of this data has been retrieved and it's available in this scheduling assistant, I'm able, when this disappears, to select, for example, a free time slot. Let's say there it is, it's quite empty. I want to kick off an appointment. I can just click in here, say, okay, it should take up to 2 hours, and then I'm fine. I also have the same functionalities like hide times outside my meeting, and so that scheduling data. It's implemented, but I won't show it today because it's too much stuff going on. Now when I click on save, this data has been written into a background table. It's the custom page helpers, which serves as our caching mechanism or as a caching storage, where we put this data in, and as soon as we're closing the custom page, the JavaScript reads this kind of cache and writes the data right into this user interface without having to save. So this is in the create state. It's not created in the backend yet, but it already has the data from the custom page in this app. So how is this being made? I could show to you a slide which says caching and show you all of those things which was done in the backend, but I could also just go into the system and show it to you. So let's jump into the backend. So there's a little JavaScript which is doing the magic. Basically, I'm creating two variables, like a custom page name and a session ID. Don't get me wrong, I just made it for demo reasons. This is not the best way to create a session ID, but it's the way. So we kind of reuse the parameters entity name and record ID because these are the only two parameters available for custom pages. We are not allowed to do any custom parameters by now. So what I did is I just put my things which I needed into there, like my attendees and custom page and session ID. Did like some delimiters to extract them in the next step, and then I'll just pass this information into the Navigate to option for Microsoft, which is quite easy to use. I just say Navigate to, and when I do like this, give me a second. This has been done. So it's calling the custom page, and to read this data, I go in the invisible function of my screen, and I just go, okay, read my record ID and parse those values I need and store them as context variables inside my application. So now the parameter are stored in my application. I can reuse it later for the caching mechanism. Also, how to get the attendees, it's quite similar, parsing the entity name, and then you just do a little bit of stuff, which is quite a lot. I won't show it yet. But what I will show you is when you're doing that, you can kind of configure your appointment, where you can choose your attendees, optional, required. You can do like date things and kind of stuff. And when you click on save, it's just creating a record. You see there's a patch which patched the custom page helpers on the defaults, which says only create a new record. And then I like create things like I insert the name, I insert the session ID, and also all the JSON stuff I need for my client-side script to set fields that I wanted to be set. So with this in mind, I can click on save, and hopefully I could showcase it to you how it looks like in the system. So when I click on save, I will show it to you later. Things are happening. The custom page helpers gets a new record. So this is a record which has been deleted afterwards, but the debox one I for now static. So I can showcase it to you. It has the name, the session, and also all the stuff I need in JSON format. And after that, the script, when the page has been closed, goes and retrieves this specific record based on the custom page name and the session ID. For that record reasons, I delete it afterwards, and then I just do things like parsing the JSON and setting values. So kind of stuff you as a dev should know. So basically, this is all it. If you want to have more details on that, as mentioned, I will write a detailed blog entry about it. Also, I write down about how I did the app registration for the Graph API to get those calendar entries, how I deal with private appointments, and so on. This is in the making. It will take some time, but it will be a series about that. So if you have any questions, please contact me over my socials, LinkedIn, X, or via my blog, I'll be happy to connect with you guys. Thank you.
Excellent, Nils. This is awesome stuff. Really, really hot in the chat. Love what you've done. And man, you are perfect on timing. So thank you for that. Rocking it. Very great job. Really cool stuff. And again, I put his link to his blog in the chat. So we'll post that back in here in a moment. Check it out if you'd like. Okay, let's move on to Charles, who's going to have tips to condense and improve your Power Effects code. We started out with some JavaScript, and I'm an equal opportunist when it comes to technology. Love the low code, love some pro code, so really loving the expanse and spectrum of this call. Charles, take it away.
Thanks, David. All right, so yeah, talking about tips to condense and improve your Power Effects code. So you're probably thinking, who the FX is this guy? And unfortunately, we don't have a Copilot to explain that just yet. My name is Charles Sexton. I share my name with Charles Lamanna and also, of course, King Charles, the Spaniel. I'm a senior Power Platform developer, very passionate about Power Apps, as you can probably tell. I'll be speaking at the European Power Platform Conference next month in Brussels, which was mentioned earlier. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can see a screenshot from my blog. There's a QR code if you want to go to it. I talk a lot about Power Apps, and the QR code on the left is to connect with me on LinkedIn. So feel free to do that. So what we're going to do now is just go straight into the demo and talk about Power Effects tips. So yeah, first things first. This is sort of James Bond themed. It just happened by chance. I'm not a particularly huge James Bond fan, but we'll just roll with it. It's quite fun. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is to do with returning Booleans. So in your properties in Power Apps, you're often setting things like the visibility of controls. And you might have some kind of condition in there, and you might need to return a Boolean, a true or a false. And what I've seen a lot of the time is people actually returning true or returning false. So if our text matches, we return true, we've got visibility. If it doesn't, then it's false. But we don't actually need to return true or false because we just need the result of the condition to be there essentially. So all we have to do is remove the true and false, and we're just saying, well, if this matches it, then yeah, that's great. We're already returning true. So let's move on to our next tip. I have to get through these quickly because we don't have too much time for these. Tip number 2 is to do with string interpolation. So if you come from the Excel world, you're probably using ampersands to bring strings together to concatenate them. You don't have to do that because if you're using ampersands and quotations, it can get quite messy. What you can do instead is you can prefix your string with a dollar symbol, and then you can put your Power Effects code, so it could be variables or it could be conditions, inside of curly brackets, and then it looks cleaner, it's more concise as well. So yeah, the name is Sexton, Charles Sexton. Tip number 3, so James Bond is in MI6, but why is he looking up for no reason? So let's have a look into this one. So here we have a local variable on our screen, and we've got the name of James Bond from that. And what we're doing after that is we're checking what his agency is that he belongs to. So it's a dataverse table. But what we're doing here is we're performing a lookup for that agency based on that variable of the agent James Bond that we've got. But we don't really need to do that lookup because we already have it. We can just reference that relationship. So the agent, which is James Bond, .agency, that's the agency that belongs to him, and then the name of it. So it's much cleaner, and we're not performing that request to the database, which is really important. Tip number 4, is all to do with blanks. So let's say we have a drop down here and we've got just one option in it, James Bond, and we want to set the default for that. And we want to say that if we can find an agent called Charles Sexton, then let's return him. Otherwise, let's return a blank. And the way that it works in the Power Effects code is we're typically looking at if it's blank first. So if we don't have this particular person as an agent, then we return a blank. Otherwise, we return the agent. But we don't even need to return the blank. We can just prefix it with a not or an exclamation mark. Just say, if it's not blank, then let's return it. Otherwise, we don't have to do anything. It's just much cleaner. Tip number 5. Referring to myself. So yeah, let's have a look at this. We've got a label here that says I'm not normal. And if I change it to say bold, it changes to, but I am bold. And the logic behind that is essentially we're looking at the font weight for this particular control. And if it's normal, we're presenting I am not normal. Otherwise, we're putting but I am bold. So we're using the font weight from the control. But we don't need to reference the control like this because it's referring to itself. What we can do is instead of that, we can just put self. And it's much cleaner, it's much clearer to the developer that, okay, we're referring to the control we're within. It's much better. Tip number 6. So filters here. We have a gallery. We've got some very special agents in there. James Bond, of course, Miss Moneypenny, David Warner II, version 2.0, and Shane, who is, of course, forever young. And what we can do here is we can search and filter through the agency, for example, and we can also search for the name as well. This all works fine, no problem with it. So the end user is going to be happy with it. But what's the developer experience like? If we look at the code that we're using to filter it, what we can see here is that we're checking if we've got some kind of search text. And if we have, then we're performing the search. But within our search, within where we're looking at our data source, we're reducing that according to whether an agency has been selected or not. And if an agency has been selected, then we're returning the filtered list. Otherwise, we return all of the agents. But then if we're not searching, we do that filter yet again. So we're doing it twice, and that's not very nice. What we can do instead is, if I just comment out that code. So what we can do instead is we can put all of it inside of one filter statement or one filter function. So within here, we're checking, are we searching? If we are, then we search. Otherwise, we don't. And then we've got our filter in one line here. So we're basically saying if they've selected all, then it's true, return everything. But if it's not, or, then reduce it down to the agency that's selected. And it means that if we have more filter statements, we can just put in extra lines for every single one. It's much cleaner, much easier. On to tip number 007. So here we have the name is Bond. The name Bond contains 4 letters. So we're referring to the name of Bond. And the way that we're getting it is we're looking up the first agent in MI6. We're grabbing their surname, and then we're looking them up again, and we're checking the length of the surname. And that's a lot of stuff that we're doing. And what you'll notice is that we're using the surname twice, which is a bit of a waste, really, isn't it? So what we can do instead is we can use the with function, which is a great function for when you need to use something repetitively. So it might be that you have a complex calculation. You can put that into a temporary variable inside your with function, and then you can use it. So with now contains Bond, and then we can very simply put out the name Bond contains however many letters. And it also means that whatever variable you have in here is contained within the function. So you're not going to be leaking that outside of that function. So it's very important. And on to the next one, keyboard shortcuts. And I would just like to set something up quickly so that you can actually see the keyboard shortcuts, if I can. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, hopefully this works. So yeah, keyboard shortcuts. The QR code there will take you to my blog post for keyboard shortcuts, but David's also going to share that. If we're looking at wanting to move a control up or down, for example, let's say that we want to move our container up or down here, we can hold down Control and left bracket and it will move it up, or right bracket and it will move it down. We can do Control Shift and left square bracket or right square bracket to move it all the way up or all the way down. And those ones are quite commonly known, I think. One of the ones that I really enjoy are the ones where you're actually working with your PowerFX code. So let's say that we wanted to change the key and we want to change it a couple of times. If we hold down Control and D, then we can select the next occurrence, as many as we want to. But for this, maybe we want to select all of them. So Control, Shift, and L, and we've selected all of them, and we can change that to whatever we want. So it's nice and quick and easy. It helps me a lot. Moving lines up and down is also quite useful. So you'll find that you need that sometimes. That's with Alt and up and down, and then you can do Alt, Shift, and up or down, and you can copy the line up or down, which is also very handy. And there we go. those are all of my tips. Thank you very much.
Awesome stuff there, Charles. Really a great collection. Some very useful things in there. Love the shortcuts. I put the link to your shortcuts in the chat so everybody can check that out. Love that you ended sort of on 007. I was going to say, is it also 007 bytes, right? Licensed to code.
That's
all right. I love that thing. Awesome. Okay. Thank you for presenting. Really great stuff. The community's loving it. And so are we. Okay, let's get into Gilles and broadcast notifications for model-driven apps. Take it away.
Yes, thank you very much, David. Can you hear me?
Yep, it's coming through loud and clear. And if you just want to throw your presentation into presenter mode there, that way it looks a little bit better for the video and everything. Be perfect.
Of course. Let's go.
Perfect. Looks great.
Okay, so thank you very much for having me. First of all, thank you for everything that you do, you and your team, for the community. So it's a real pleasure to be here. Okay, so broadcast notifications for model-driven apps, that's what I want to tell you about. So what is it? What does it mean? But first of all,
sorry, one thing. It looks like your little. There you go. Perfect.
Okay. First of all, some information about me. So I'm Gilles Bandza, solution architect, Dynamics 365 and Power Platform at IBM. So I recently created a blog, so you can Google it, powerplatformspace.com. And you can also find me on LinkedIn, GitHub, and X at Glig. And you can just scan the QR code that is right there in order to get all these informations. And yeah, just in case you didn't notice in my accent, that was IBM France. I am in France, so I'm going to ask you to please be kind and excuse my French. So broadcast notifications for model-driven app. First of all, why a dedicated solution for notifications since it already exists? And then I'm going to be speaking about the design process. And then we will go to my favorite part, which is the demo. Okay, so why notifications? In some cases, managers, especially in customer engagement, may require to send notifications to their team. So you would probably say to me, okay, just go ahead and use Teams, send an Outlook message, which is fine as a solution, but definitely not a perfect solution, if I can say it like that. So I think most of the time we like to have everything in the same place. So this is what broadcast notification is going to bring to you. Hopefully Microsoft released the in-app notifications feature in Power Platform since Wave 1, so Wave 1 of 2021. So you can now send notification to a user, but it is actually not possible to send notification to multiple users at once. So you need to know the technical grid of the user, which can be complicated for someone that is not a developer or a citizen developer. And there is no user-friendly interface to just say, okay, let me just send this message with this icon and just send it to this person. There is nothing like that. And the customization so far is very technical, so you need to read a lot of documentation. For someone who is not an expert, it's something that is really not easy. So this is where broadcast notifications solution can help you. So the design process, this is actually what you usually have in your applications when you're using a model-driven. You have the model-driven app. You have the Dataverse, where you have your team, your business, and if you want to say a notification to a user, you can create a flow or a plugin or anything else to send a notification to the user. What we did is we added another model-driven apps above the one that is already exists, the one that you have. So if you install the solution, you will have this. And in this model-driven app, you will have a web page, a web form, which will help you send the notification. So the form is a WYSIWYG one, so you can visually create your notification and target anyone, a team, a user or a business unit, anything else. Or a security role, sorry, I was trying to say. So yes, this web form is going to use a custom action that we created. This custom action is going to be able to target users, just a simple user by entering his name, or a team, like I said, a business unit or a security group. So of course, in the solution, you will find the security roles, one that is dedicated to read the notification, which is not something that you can have by default. And there is a security role that is named notification sender that you can apply to the user that will be sending notifications if not everyone is supposed to do it. So let's go to the demo. So if you install the broadcast notification solution, you will see that you will have in your application a new one that will be named BR Notification Manager. Once you will launch this application, you will have this dashboard that will automatically launch. In the dashboard, you have some information about the number of users you have in your organizations, the notification that you sent using this tool, the number of campaigns. What is a campaign? Is the notification targeting multiple users, and the success rate of the latest campaign that you created. You also have a QR code to go to the documentation, the video, and a small documentation here presenting what is included in the solution. And let's go. To send a notification, just use this send notification. And here you have the form, which is really simple. So let's just start by sending a simple message like this one, hello community. And you can see that you visually have the result of what you are creating. You can change, for example, the icon. That's the success icon, the Microsoft one, the failure icon, whatever. Let's use this icon for this message. Let's put it in high priority. And I'm going to target this time a user, by default, me. So you can click send. And what is happening in the background is that this custom action that I just spoke to you about previously is being called. And by this, you will receive the notification. So as you can see here, a few seconds ago, exactly what we have here. So you visually create the notification, and what you see here is exactly what you will receive as a notification. You see I have a few notifications that I have created previously, so you can really customize it as you want. You have some help here on the right panel to help you create the notification. So let's change this notification and say that we will target a team. Let's choose this team. In this team, we have 148 users. So it is going to tell you, you are sending this notification to this number of users, because sending a notification is nice, but you don't want to bother anyone with some information that they don't care about. So just be careful. So you have a reminder of the number of users you are targeting. You also have a description here if you want to say something about the campaign that you are creating. This is my campaign, and I will send it. So right now, the same custom action is being called, but this time it is sending the notifications to 148 users at once just by clicking on send notifications. So there is nothing technical. You just have to choose the right target, and once done, click on send, and you can be sure that the users will receive this message. In the meantime, let me present to you one of the features that, okay, perfect, the campaign has been created. So you have a follow-up of your campaign. You can click here to have the results of all the notifications that have been created. So as you can see, the success rate of the campaign is 41%. some of the users did not receive notification. Only 61 of them received. So you have an error tab with the details of the error. Actually, in my case, some users didn't have the proper security role, to the proper privilege to receive the notification, but you have all the details here. Everything. Now let me present one of the features that we built into this solution, which is the target list. In some cases, you may want to send the notifications to a team. You know exactly which team you want to target. You know exactly the business unit. You know exactly the security role, the people in the security role that you want to alert. For example, I want to say something to all the admins. Please pay attention to this. You can use all of these categories, but you also have the possibility to use a target list, which is something new. A target list, if you create one, you will be able to enter a name. So a target list can be different things. It can be a team, it can be a business unit, it can be a security role again, but it can be a list. So you will say, I want to send these specific notifications to only some specific users. Once saved, let's go ahead and say, I want Alan Steiner into my list, and I want what else do we have? Sorry, wrong. It's here. Let's choose this other user and save it. So we have 2 users into this target list. So we can go in this pusher in the form and just say, okay, I want to send this notification to a target list. And here you have my target list, the one that I just created. And you can customize the icon by saying, okay, I want to use Power Apps icon because the message here is mentioning something in Power Apps. You can see that this notification will target 2 users. And again, I can enter the message here, and type send notification. Once done, 100% success. And in my campaign, I no longer have the error tab. So this is the notification I sent. It has been sent to Alan Steiner and system admin. And I have the success rate here, and I have the description of my campaign, the one I just prepared before. And this is it. So do not hesitate to use it if you feel free. No, sorry, last feature is the hooks for notifications. One feature that was important for our client at the time was to be able to say, for example, something specific is happening in the Dataverse. I want the users to be notified, and I do not want someone to come into the form and enter something. So yes, we built that feature. So you just have to enable, for example, this is related to a case. If a case is closed, the case assigned to me is closed, an opportunity assigned to me is won, anything else, you can just enable the hooks. And when this specific event will happen, then you will be notified and receive a notification like here saying whatever you want to say, of course. That was it for me. Thank you very much.
Awesome stuff, Gilles. It's really, really cool. Well put together, very seamless. A lot of great kudos in the chat. Some questions for you, some ideas. So we'll let you check that out while we're wrapping up the call. But really, really wonderful job. Appreciate you bringing that to the community. Really well thought out, and love Love the interaction of it. Well done, demo. I tell you what, I was not at all thinking that we had 3 first-time presenters today based on how you all presented. You were presenting like seasoned veterans. So really, really great job. Thank you, Nils, Charles, and Gilles, for bringing your passion to the community. Great, great stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm going to jump in there. I just want to give those guys a shout out real quick. I think it's worth an extra little bit of love. Yeah, I agree with you. I would have never known they were first-time presenters, and it's such cool stuff, right? And I also, like, for the rest of you out there, like, think about the gambit of what we saw, right? We had all the way from, you know, we looked at code. I don't even know what that stuff was that Nils showed, right? Like, I don't know, was that C# or something? I don't know. Scary code, right? So we had one presentation with scary code. We had Charles with our lovely, very comfortable PowerFX code, right? Gilles with, hey, here's just a solution that works. Go run with it. You know, there's a lot of different things going on here, and they all did a great job of just showing how you can be successful and do a good job with this stuff, no matter what your skill is, right? Like, I mean, think about Charles's, right? He gave us 7 tips. Woo! But in reality, even though I've been doing this since the beginning of time, I didn't know one of his tips, right? Like, there's always new stuff to learn. Everybody thinks that just because you know it, everyone knows it. And these presenters just did a great job of showing you that that is not the case. They, you know, just because it's you know it, right? It's called the curse of knowledge. Just because you know something doesn't mean everyone knows it. So if you've got things that you've learned, tips to share, your pro code, your low code, your package thing, like, come and join us and present. These guys, hey, high five to all of you. Boom, 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 boom. Great job today.
Yeah, excellent. And I'll couple that as well with the, you know, we take for granted what we know and think is common knowledge, and it's not, right? We already have some extra degree of knowledge that is not common. So sharing it with everyone can only improve the entire community. So yeah, excellent. And by the way, those code it's not scary. When we look at curly braces, by the way, everybody, those little curly ends, those are arms going to hug you and bring you into the code. They're hugging braces is what we should call them. Is that right?
No.
We can try.
Code is scary.
We'll see. Okay, let's talk about some resources that are available to each and every one of you. We've got a number of support forums as well as our community front door. We've got our community pages and videos and samples. Again, all this stuff is free of charge. There is absolutely no cost to use it, so take advantage of it if you're in the community. Of course, there are other community calls that are available to us. The Microsoft 365 Power Platform weekly call occurs every Tuesday. That is coming directly from the horse's mouth, directly from the mothership, if you will. So you get those program managers and product managers sharing all the information and the latest and greatest goodies and cookies and all that stuff that we're excited to snack on. And then this is the Power Platform monthly call. We've got our Office add-ins monthly call, and then the 2 sibling bi-weekly Microsoft 365 and Power Platform community dev call and Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework, which is tomorrow. So if you're interested in that, then sign in there. We've got Hugo Bernier who will be hosting, guest hosting. We look forward to that. You can get access to all these at aka.ms/community/calls on that new landing page. So take advantage, get those invites on your calendar so that way you'll be automatically reminded. And if you're looking to see the agenda for the calls, they're all published to social media in advance on Meetup. So go to aka.ms/community/meetup and you can access all of those things available to you. Now, we also want to remind you that we have a Discord server set up for the community. This is, you can wow your kids and their friends by saying, hey, I was in my Discord server the other day, by the way, doing cool stuff. And they'll be like, holy cow, mom and dad are in Discord. They'll be amazed, and you'll be the star of the night. So get in there. It's a great one-stop shop, kind of be able to collaborate on a number of different topics. We've got all kinds of community members in there helping out. So it's a wonderful place to kind of collaborate. And we'd love to get some feedback from you. So if the call is going well, we want to know it. If you've already filled it out, let us know again. Let's our management know that we already are doing a good job and that the community appreciates and likes these calls. We're looking to expand these calls to a new one. I'll sneak preview that. We are looking at one new technology that we're going to be kicking up a community call for, maybe even 2. So be on the lookout for that. Exciting stuff. And we cannot wait to get started. Now, as we move to our last slide, the recording will be available in 24 hours on the, what is it, Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel, the new name at aka.ms/community/videos or /YouTube. If you subscribe, you will be alerted immediately as soon as it is released. We always get it out within 24 hours, but you won't be able to download it from Teams. It'll just end in sadness if you're not a Microsoft employee. So go subscribe to that account so that you will be alerted and check those boxes to be alerted. You can also follow us on X or Twitter or whatever the next name is for it at M365PNP and check out those updates on LinkedIn. Our next call is June 19th, 2024. Just about a month, same bat time, same bat channel, aka.ms/Power Platform Community Call. Thank you all for being a wonderful community and being here to support our presenters. And of course, thank you to our presenters. Shane, any final words, gifts of gratitude?
Just once again, kudos to everybody that joined us today for presenting, right? You guys knocked it out of the park. I love that. I love to see these community calls. I love the chat, right? Like if you're someone who's watching this recording after the fact, the chat is a very lively, very fun place. We learn new stuff over there as well. So, joining these things live every month, you realize you got to schedule an hour of your time, but it is well worth the price of admission. So please join us. Please sign up to be a presenter. Please, if you get a chance to see these guys in the community, tell them they did a great job today because they did. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, David, to say thanks and have a great day.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. And yeah, I'll just second what you said, Shane, because a lot of times we get tunnel vision on what it is that we're working on, right? So it gets hard to have that broad spectrum awareness of the things that we can do with the technology we're using every day. And by joining these calls, you're investing in your knowledge and being able to have a greater perspective on that landscape, which is going to make you a better low coder or a better developer or a better technologist for your organization or your company. So thanks, Shane, for pointing that out. Great tip. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.